Okay, so I'm back, and unfortunately, this episode is going to be in a couple of pieces. It would appear I had an interruption. Somebody came to the door, and instead of pausing the video, I ended the video. So this is part 2. Okay, so let's get down to the knitting. At the moment, I'm trying to finish off a few of my shawl whips, as I'm going to be taking them to a gallery next week and leaving them there while I'm in India to be sold. So I am finishing off some pieces, and at the same time I'm starting some new pieces as well, because it's impossible to just keep finishing things off without starting new things, as we all know. So what I'm very close to the end of, and what you saw in the first little snippet, is this this shawl, which is the Spindrift shawl by Curious Handmade. I have made a few of these, and it's a smallish shawl, semicircular, and I have been using a lace singles merino held together with a mohair. And it's this lovely pale buttery yellow and pink mohair, which I've held together with this lovely pinky yellow and beigey browny gold merino singles. This is from Big Fox, South African yarn dyer, and I am using African Expressions silk mohair in this lovely buttery yellow and this pale sort of lilac-y pink. So I am almost finished. It has a lot of stocking stitch in the top, which I'm actually enjoying. I have no problem with purling, so I enjoy the texture of this stocking stitch. Actually, it's quite nice to have this flat surface, and I'm knitting it on a 4.5 millimeter needle, which is one size bigger than I would normally use, but I want to block it out to have a lot of drape, so it's going to be very floppy and soft and gorgeous, and I just do think it's a very sweet color. It's not my usual colorway, but yeah, I think it's going to be lovely. So that's the first thing on my needles that I'm trying to get finished. Then I recently, or not so recently, last year, I knitted this wonderful scrappy shawl by Pia Trans of 50 Fabulous Knits. Now this is a gorgeous shawl. It is absolutely exquisite. It's really large. It's long. It's a long sort of arrow-shaped trapezoid triangle of stripes meant to be used with all your scraps, and then it ends with this beautiful huge piece of lace that you knit at the end. Can you see this lace? There we go. And it's gorgeous. This is a beautiful shawl. I really love it. It's huge. Oh, it's soft, and it's just my colors. Absolutely divine. And I knitted this while I was working in support with her. She invited me to join her. Let me just stand a little bit so you can see it. There it is. To join her Knitathon. Now, if you know 50 Fabulous, Pia Trans's podcast, twice a year she does this 24-hour knitathon, which means she pledges to spend 24 hours with herself and her knitting projects or her knitting project, and she checks in every 3 hours or so on YouTube with her progress, and knitters all over the world join her. Now, that is not to say she doesn't sleep. Of course, she does sleep and do all the things she needs to do. But within that 24 hours, she will pop in 4 or 5 or 6, I don't know how many times, and show you the progress on her work. So what she has done in 2022 is she invited some podcasters to join her. And I responded, and I joined her in her last Knitathon, and I was knitting on this shawl. So what happens is she posts the timings that the podcasters will come on. So I will do a live on YouTube at a specified time, and this is going to be on the 22nd of April this year. I'm not quite sure of the time yet. I will be in India, and I will be doing it from India. So, but closer to the time, she will post when all the different podcasters will be on live and knitting along with her. So I am going to dedicate my 24 hours to knit again with Pia. So I thought it would be fun, you know, to knit one of her patterns. Her patterns are absolutely gorgeous. You should go and take a look. She knits a lot of sweaters, very sort of chunky. She's a yarn dyer. She lives in a beautiful place in Italy, and she travels a lot to Denmark and to her family in Texas. And it's really a great podcast. I love her podcast, and I love her work. And so I thought what I would do just for fun this year is I'm going to make another one of these scrappy shawls. So I've actually just bought the yarn for it, and I've in fact casted it on. I've just casted it on so that I can make a start, and then I'm going to pack it in my suitcase, and I'm not going to touch it again for a couple of months until just before the Knitathon, and then I will bring it out, and then you will see me knitting it. But I'm just going to show you my beginnings, and I'm going to show you the yarn that I've used, that I am using, and you're going to see how incredibly different it is from this one. And I think that's the fun thing about knitting. You know, you can make the same thing over and over, and if you have a bit of imagination, you can make it look like something totally different. So, as per usual, I'm not at the end of the row, but I'm going to quickly sit here and talk to you a little bit while I finish this row so that I can hold it up and show it to you. So this one, A Scrappy Shawl by Pia Trans, 50 Fabulous Knits, is going to be bright and full of bright colors, and it's going to have some diaphanous mohair sections in it, and it's just going to be, I think it's going to be very inspired by the colors of India. I think I'm already getting in the mode, you know, thinking of all the wonderful, bright, beautiful textiles, and you know, you just see everywhere, people every day, they just wear gorgeous colors, and one can just sit and just watch the color parade. Ladies in their lovely saris, and men in their turbans, and the flower market. So I'm going to be based in Pondicherry, in South India, in Tamil Nadu, and I have been there before. I was there in 2009, and one thing that I really do remember from Pondi is the incredible flower market. So flowers are processed every single day in India for use, and mostly in temples. So these markets will have marigolds and roses and rose petals and all sorts of absolutely beautiful flowers being sold, and the smell, the fragrance of the flowers is just unimaginable in this market. So I would love to just go and stroll around and just absorb all the essence of the roses and the color, the saturation of that marigold orange and yellow. And I'm looking forward to doing that. So here we go. I've done my row, and this is my humble beginning of my scrappy shawl version number 2. Now, so far, you can see here I am at the point, and I am using these bright interspersed, I'm doing stripes this time, and this, I don't know if this shows as a neon green, but this is very neon. This is a mohair section, and then I've got 2 more stripe sections, and here comes another mohair section. So right now, I don't actually know, I don't have any idea how my colors are going to work out, because I'm just picking them out of this bag of colors that I purchased yesterday. And this is a commercial brand of beautiful fingering weight yarn by African Expressions. It's called Soul, and I've never used it before, which is quite surprising because it's very well priced, and its composition is 15% kid mohair, 15% mulberry silk, 50% merino wool, and 20% polyamide. So this would make very beautiful soft socks. So it is in effect a sock wool. And this is how it is. It's got a lovely, quite a loose-ish twist, and it comes in many colors. So I went shopping with a friend of mine, and I wasn't intending to buy this, of course, but I suddenly decided, okay, let me make another beautiful scrappy shawl, and this can be my offering for the Knitathon in April. So these are some of the colors that I'm using. I don't think there's numbers on these colors, and I'm not going to tell you them. You'll have to go, if you're in South Africa, you can go and check them out. So this is the combination that I've started to work with. I've used quite a lot of this dark sort of aubergine as the background. And then here comes the luminous, beautiful lime green yellow, just to throw a spanner in the works. And then I've also, whoops, I'm dropping them all. I've also got this dark sort of charcoal grey, which I'm going to transition the background color from the aubergine into the grey. But it's still going to go with all these other delicious and lovely colors. So these are all the colors of the merino. And then I've got a few balls of the mohair. Some of these come out of my stash. And this is a beautiful kid silk mohair from African Expressions. It's called Hope. And I really love it. It's somewhat slightly fluffier than the imported mohair, kid silk mohairs, like the Drops kid silk. It's slightly fluffier, not very much, but actually I like that because I can use it as a single strand, in between the sock yarn, and it doesn't pull in, it doesn't make very much difference to the thickness. So that is, sorry for the plastic, that is what I'm going to be knitting on for the Knitathon with Pia. And so remember that date, the 22nd of April, I'll be reminding you about that. And that is that. That's a fun thing. So I am taking one shawl of my own to wear with me to India. So I thought I'd just show you. I have recently shown this. This is the beautiful Slipstravaganza by Stephen West, which I finally managed to make one in my absolute favorite colors and to keep it. I have made, this is probably the 5th one that I've made, and I'm in love with these colors. These are my colors, orange, rust, and with this cream border, it really stands out so beautifully. It's a magnificent shawl, honestly. I really love it, and it's got quite a lot of mohair in it, so it's quite lightweight. So I will need a shawl in India, as when I go on my tour, we will be going up to the mountains, and it is winter, and it could even be snowing. So I'm going to be delighted to wear my slip extravaganza in India. I've knitted a couple there, but they have all gone. So this one I'm taking with me. Another thing that I'm working on right now, and I'm really hoping to get this finished before I go, but in the same instance, I'm loving making it so much that I'm trying not to rush it. And that is the Yvonne MT shawl by Natasha Hornsby, also known as Moonstruck Knits. I've knitted quite a few of her beautiful, beautiful shawls. She uses a lot of mosaic knitting technique, and this is also mosaic, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So this is how far I am on the shawl. It's a long, long, long triangle, and it has this one side that has this lovely scalloped mosaic. It starts very narrow, just with the mosaic panel, and then you start to add in the side piece, which starts to form the body of the shawl. And I love, this is also a slip stitch. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love this two colors. Now this is a combination of the gray is a knotty habit, merino twist, and the lime green yellow is a merino linen, also a sock yarn that I dyed. It's slightly variegated, so it goes from green, you know, with a bit of goldy yellow, and it's really lovely. And the gray is a solid. So it does, I don't know if you can see, it gives a bit of a sort of shadowing effect on this side. You know, there's lots of tones within that, and that is something I really am enjoying. So this is a gorgeous shawl. It takes a bit of concentration. There is a chart that you have to follow basically all the way through, but it moves along. So far it doesn't have hundreds of stitches, so it's growing slowly in width and in length, and then at the end there's a piece that you knit along the side, and I'm really loving it. So today I am going to have a sort of little 5-day last minute knitting retreat with my friend Lenka in Robertson. There's a chance that I will actually add a little video from our time together there. Lenka and I have been friends for years, and she is probably one of my very few friends who are actual real people, not virtual people, who I have many of, and I really love them all. I love you all as well, my followers, but I love spending time sitting with Lenka and knitting. We are very much on the same page with our knitting. She loves knitting shawls. We've done 2 of the last Stephen West mystery knit-alongs together. We've made a point of getting together and having a cast-on party. We've been living fairly far apart from each other, so you know, it's a journey to go there and to spend the time there. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm getting on a bus and I'm traveling for 4 hours with some knitting to do along the way, and then I'm going to spend 5 days with Lenka, and we are going to just dive into our knitting, as we're not really going to see each other for 5 months. I'm going to be in India for 5 months, and yeah, that is going to be really exciting. So I'm sure I will be able to finish these 2 shawls, the Spindrift and this Yvonne MT, while I'm there, and then I'm going to try very hard not to knit on the cotton work that I'm working on at the moment, as I need something to knit on the plane. There's always, one has to think, you know, when you go on a journey, what can you knit on the plane, what can you knit on the train, what can you knit in front of the TV. So I probably have like 4 or 5 whips on the go when I leave. Oh, there's something else I knitted that I want to show you. I'll have to get it out the cupboard. But so yes, this last week, which will be coming up next week, I'll be gathering all my things together, all my suitcases, and getting my visa and preparing to leave. So I may have mentioned before that I am taking a whole suitcase of hand-dyed yarn with me to India, and I'm going to be trading that with my dear friend Manasa from Sunray Creations, who she trades in the most exquisite silk, pure silk, ahimsa eri silk, that is wild organic silk from the jungles of Arunachal Pradesh in India, which I cannot wait to get my hands on. And I'm going to be knitting with it, and I'm going to be dyeing it. So I'm taking my whole dye kit with me. Everything, almost the kitchen sink is coming with me to India, and I'm going to be playing with yarn. I am again going to be doing some voluntary knitwear design work in the south this time, and I will be telling you all about that as that comes along. So yes, very exciting times for me, something I've been waiting for a very, very long time, and finally the time has come. So let me just grab this last little piece, because it's something that I made very recently with some leftover Drops yarn that I had. It's actually Drops Alpaca, which is a gorgeously soft sort of sport weight yarn, and Drops Kid Silk held together. And I made this lovely balaclava. Oh gosh, what is it called? It's called the Comfy Balaclava, I think. I made another one which is in pink and rib, and I'll show you that as well, but that's not very comfy. It's quite tight, and in fact it's probably a bit small for me, but I'm going to give that to my granddaughter. So let me just grab those and show them to you. So this is the first balaclava I knitted, and it is really lovely. It's very cute. This I knitted again out of the African Expression Soul, which is the sock wool, and a strand of the Hope, which is the mohair from African Expressions. I'll put it on for you. It's, you know, it fits me. It's kind of quite, it's a close fitting, let's say. And I could definitely wear it. It's not terribly tight. In fact, it fits perfectly. I guess it fits how a balaclava is supposed to fit. But I have decided that I'm going to give this one to my granddaughter because she loves the color, and pink is not really my color. I mean, it wouldn't really go with this, would it? So there we go. That's the first one. Now, I think this one's called the Cozy or the Comfy Balaclava, and as you can see, it is much bigger. It is like a hood, in fact. It's really gorgeous, and it's super soft, knitted out of the alpaca and the Drops Alpaca and the mohair. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous hood. It's probably a bit squashed because it's been packed away in the suitcase. But it's got this lovely neck, and it's quite open here, which is the thing that I really like about it. I've got a little ponytail, so it's probably got a bump at the back. But this I will be wearing in the mountains, and when you don't wear it, it's this beautiful sort of hooded accessory, which I hope you can see the back. You can just wear it around your neck, almost like a cowl. And then when it's cold, you can just slip it on, and it can keep you warm. So, and I do like this dark forest green, that's what the color is called. So I will be wearing this, probably with this, and I've also got a jersey, a sweater that I've made out of alpaca, and these are the items, the warm items I'm taking with me to India, because the rest will all be summer things, as the south is, you will never be wearing anything like this. Maybe if I go up to the mountains in the south, I will manage to wear this shawl. I really hope so, because I'm looking forward to wearing it. So those are all my things for now. I do have a couple of other items that, you know, I've cast on and are hanging around, and some of them are already packed away, but they'll be coming out as I go along. So I don't think you can expect any videos from me in the next 2 weeks. Maybe some little shorts of some exciting, beautiful things that I come across in India, and I will be back, and I'm looking forward to the Knitathon in April. So thank you so much for coming to visit me today and taking the time to listen to my story. I do have a Patreon page which is dedicated to my India tours, and that is called Mystic India Tours. I will put a link to it in the notes. If you would like to join me on Patreon, you will get quite a lot of benefits which you can go over and have a look at, and perhaps you'd like to come on a tour with me. I am doing another tour in October, and that will be something quite different to what I've done before in South India. It will be taking in, lots of different things, but a bit of a Ayurvedic retreat, some time in the mountains, lots of textiles, just temples, and lots of color. So go over there and take a look. And I'm also on Instagram. I have Tribal Bling is my handle for my knitwear, and then I have another Instagram account called Mystic India Tours. I will put all of this in the show notes, and please pop in wherever and say hi, and happy crafting, happy new year, and I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming.